anything with that. That's just as it comes.
That's the camera view, is it? Yes.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Let's.
I know. If you go into the Zoom settings and change the camera that Zoom is using.
He already has.
I've just done that. Yeah.
He needs to. If he unshares his screen, we should be fine looking through that camera.
Yeah. Just stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, it's got to go back. Yeah.
Go to the top of the screen and hit stop sharing.
Okay.
On the Zoom.
Right, and now everybody in the call needs to go out of the gallery view, go into speaker view, and hopefully when he talks, he'll be the one maximised.
We've got to go into what?
Is that working?
Rather than guy's nose.
Yeah.
If you pin the chat for that image, then that will always be the one on top.
We might be able to pin him. Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Pin video would be.
Yeah.
Pin video. Yeah.
Can I speak, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to have this problem at 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock your time. The best way of doing it, from what I can think at the moment, is that, yes, put it on speaker view, and what's his name? Dave has to do the talking all the time, or keep some sound going so that his picture is always there. Everybody else must mute.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, okay.
You agree?
Yeah, or should we try pin videos?
I would try pin video, Paul.
Because we did work with Ming.
Yeah.
Oh, I think.
Right, what can everyone see?
We can see your camera, that's good.
We can see your computer.
Right, okay. What, am I in full screen?
We're seeing the view out of your webcam, which is correct.
Right, okay.
I've done that by pinning that webcam as my main screen.
Right, but at your ends, am I in big view or a little square view?
Right.
What's that? What's that?
Carl, you're sharing your screen.
Right. Shall I try and start? Everyone put up their hands if I should start. Okay, I'm gonna carry on. Elbow Lane was really the genesis of Elbow Lane was born at Lyd Rail last year. Having seen what was it? Cripple Sidings and another one, and I cannot remember the name of it. A very small, long, thin layout. I had it written down somewhere, but I shall have to refer back to that sometime. And I determined that I'd never had a layout at home for about 50 years or longer. So I determined to have a little layout at home I could play on. I could possibly take to one-day shows if someone asked, because our club layouts are just too much for one-day shows. And I determined also to have it down at Lyd for this meeting. However, that's not quite worked out. So today I'm not going to do any running because there's enough video that I've posted on YouTube for you to have a look at and get bored with that. So what I'm going to describe is really just the layout itself, the physical layout. So what you can see in the picture now is my computer desk, a computer screen at the back, and then on the very left is a set of wooden shelves, and you can just see the black boards of the layout. That's it for there, but to operate anything I need to fit a fiddle yard. So just bear with me for a second. Oh, that's my drink. So fiddle fiddle yard cometh, and I'll get the camera off the tripod and see how that works. Okay, is that okay? Thumbs up? Yeah, great. So Tim Horn baseboards, of course. What else? The fiddle yard is protected by a Merg cutout, area cutout, because obviously sometimes putting stuff onto the fiddle yard you cause a short. So what the fiddle yard does is, just bear with me. Sorry. Right, here we go. The fiddle yard's on top of my table and is plugged into the end of the layout. So again, Tim Horn baseboards. Here's a more or less an overview of what it is. I'm trying to see my computer screen while I walk to the end of the layout. Okay, so the story is, let's just sit down. Of course, just to upset Paul, it's DCC sound and it's worked by NCE equipment, just the power cab, which is a 2-amp system. And I first laid it out with Templot, but using old Pico track components to see what fitted and what really worked. And I had a couple of changes of track plan, but here's the track now. So we have no run round on the board, but the run round is off in the fiddle yard under the bridge into the fiddle yard. The fiddle yard is a swing sector table, which just moves around like that. So it's got 3 roads, and any of the 3 roads can come out on either of the 2 tracks into the layout. All right. I'll tell you what, if anyone's got any questions, can I do that at the end? That will be much easier. So when I designed the layout, I thought I'd have a lovely background of a Gauge Master pre-printed background of houses, the back of what were a housing estate. But idiot me built this bridge and angled it that way, so coming from the front to the left at the back. And when I set up the background temporarily, the bridge ran into the back of a house. Brilliant. And as I looked at the rest of the background, there was no way that I could disguise the fact that the bridge went into the houses. The problem was that the background goes right to the top of the board, so the background includes the sky. And so the idea of cutting out the houses and putting them in the background just didn't work. So I'm stuck with really a sky painted boards, and I've left it at that. So my problem is I don't have any visualization. In other words, I build it as I go, and if it fits, it fits, and if something doesn't fit, I have to change my mind. So I wanted some sort of shed, unloading shed, which you have here. And then also I wanted a loco, a head shunt really, for the 2 normal roads. And I turned that into a little fueling point. I did hear what Paul said the other day about there being concrete in between the tracks. Well, I haven't got quite that, but what I've got is a grill. So I hope that's acceptable. The other things, I've really just gathered off the internet and I thought ought to appear here. I built this very old diesel pump out of use, which I think comes from Gloucester. I found a picture on the internet. So further down the layout, the goods platform has gradually been populated with bits and pieces. And then between the goods platform and the next board, I had this massive gap and I just cannot decide what to put there. And that picture off the internet was just put there this morning. So pretty new. I'm not sure whether it's going to stay. So further back, I'm trying to, excuse me a minute. I've got to try and see what's on my computer screen. So further down, I decided that I wanted a platform in this layout, and because I wanted to shunt in and out a 2-car unit, EMU of course, and the platform, the first point was at the front here, and then it appeared at the back, and then I ended up with 2. And I thought 2 platforms is a bit much for this little layout, so the back platform has become a derelict one. So here you can see a piece of collapsed platform with the concrete fencing collapsed, and further up, hang on, is a collapsed light, and the name sign has fallen to the ground there. And then what it's got is some old Southern signs, but it's being taken over by BR. So you've got both there. Excuse me while I just move. I hope you can see this, because I can't see my screen now. There's the details at the end of the platform for the one platform now that is in use. Oh, thanks, mobile. Yeah, just happens to be a train there at the moment. The reason, well, at the moment I'm beginning to populate the yard, which has got nothing in it yet except for these 2 items which I put together in the last week, and some old piles of rail that have suddenly come along. The reason there is a unballasted double slip there is because Pico, the bastards, haven't issued the ball head double slip yet. So this flat bottom double slip needs replacing. And so I've not ballasted it or painted it, because that's coming out to be sold when they finally issue the ball head. So underneath, now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this or not. Just bear with me. I have a picture ready. Where would it be? Here. Right. I hope I'm showing the underneath of a baseboard. I think right. Did you manage to see the underneath of a baseboard just then? Great. Okay. What I'll do is I'll show that again, give you a few details, except that it's gone, bastard. Hold on.
Is it just me or is the screen blank?
It might be, just a minute. Right, I hope you can see that. Someone like to speak up?
Yeah, see it.
Okay, great. Right, this is the underside of the main board with all the controls on. So if you can you see my mouse pointer?
I've got a black screen, that's all I've got, and just me in the bottom corner.
Right, okay.
At the moment, we're looking through your mobile that you were shown, and that's just
Oh.
blank.
Right. I don't know how to change the camera now. Right. Okay, I'll have to leave that bit. So I don't know how to show the picture during this session. But basically, for the control, I've used Merg cutouts. But for the points, I've used servos, which have proved very reliable and very good. However, I didn't use the Merg servo control board because there are some problems with the servos jumping when you plug in. So I went for the Merg kit of Megapoints, which gave me my 5 servos instead of the 4 that Merg offer, and they've worked absolutely beautifully. So I'm very, very pleased with those. They caused no problems at all. However, what I have done, where are we? Because you can adjust the points on the go, I have a socket here on the front of the board where I can plug in an adjuster box, so that if anything goes wrong at a show, I can adjust the points, both the speed of movement and the distance of movement on the go. So I just thought that was a good move. The control panel is on a lead, and here we go. Quite simple. Switches for the points. The coloured buttons are routes. The Megapoints board offers 3 routes that will set all the points necessary in that route, and the red button is to cancel the route setting. So at any time you can set routes, and you may be able to see that the same colour from the buttons is on the end of some of the sidings, and they represent the routes that the buttons operate. Thanks, mobile. And the board is designed, the control panel is designed to operate from the back or the front. Really, I can't say much else. It's nothing to operate. Most of my locos are in the box. If John is still watching, there's the of it. What else can I say? The fiddle yard, the aluminium around the fiddle yard, is actually the AC supply for each track. So this is one, this is the nearest rail, and that's the furthest rail. So I don't have to bother about wiring here. All the wiring comes in at the end and is fed through the copper clad sheet in here, which actually moves like that. And that's about it. Can't believe I've been speaking for 20 minutes. There you go. Any questions? No?
Hang on. The Merg stuff, you don't have to be a member to buy it, do you?
I'm afraid so.
No, I thought it was, yeah. Okay.
Only a year though at £16.50, so it's still cheaper than buying a Megapoints kit.
I suppose so. And if you know what you want and you only want one little lot, get in, get out and get your stuff.
Yeah, they've also got. I've also got underneath a LED dimmer, so the LEDs that will be the lighting that will be on the layout itself, the yard lights and things, can be dimmed for a nighttime session, and they also do things like boards for cutting down the. Oh, I'll have some of that onion. The boards for cutting down 16 AC to 12 or to 5. So there's lots of little bits like that that are very useful.
Fair enough. Thank you for that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sorry, I'm doing two things at once here. I'm
What
being
is it you're doing? Sorry, I'm interested.
Hey, Dave, what emus are you going to use on the layout?
Well, really, for 2 cars, I've only got EPBs.
Yeah.
I've got the SR style 2 HAP, and I've got the SR style 2 EPB, and I've got the BR style 2 EPB and 2 HAP, and I've got the stores unit 024, of course.
Yes, yeah, the sub one.
Yeah. That's all that's going to fit, of course, on such a small layout. The reason that it's only 2 cars is what's happened to my camera, is the fact that this layout, here we go, this layout has to sit on these shelves. It's the only place, and it can only be a foot deep, and the boards are each 2'6" long. The reason for that is that the boards have to be extracted between the shelving uprights. So they can't be any longer, in fact have to be a bit shorter than the gap between each shelving upright. So otherwise I probably would have had 4-foot boards. But again, there's a load of stuff stored behind these boards on the shelves. So again, it can only be a foot deep.
Yeah, space is always a problem, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Well, not for you.
Well, I meant for normal people. No offence to anyone, obviously.
No. So it hasn't lasted that long. I probably knew it wasn't, but I'm not having a running session. As I say, there's plenty of that on YouTube.
I take it that fits in your car, okay?
Absolutely, I think it'll fit on the back seat actually, one on top of another. But yes, I've got a people carrier, and
Oh yeah,
that's going to fit in there quite well.
good.
Thanks, Dave. That was interesting. Thank you.
That's all right. You're very welcome. I really didn't know how I was going to fill the allotted time, and obviously I haven't. But
It's quality, not quantity, Dave.
oh, thanks very much.
That's an interesting comment.
Dave, I'm always impressed when I see folk who have been to Lidwell one year. It's like going to any exhibition really, but more so Lidwell because of the quality of what you see in a restricted space, and you go back motivated, and to actually turn that out in a year, is impressive what you've done there. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, well, I collected the boards from Tim at Newark, which I think was last August or July sometime. And it really started in earnest in September. But of course, lockdown, I can't say lockdown has allowed me to do a lot more because I'm retired and that's mostly all I do.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, does it?
Other than going shopping is lockdown. Yeah. Still, there you go. Some of us have more time than others, of course. Any other questions? No. Rolling stock. I've got all sorts of small stuff. And at the moment, I'm operating all BR Blue locos. But I've got stuff that ranges right up to present day almost, class 68. I've got class 68, which to be honest, I don't like. I'm going to get rid of it. It's just, I don't know, I just don't like it. But everything else, I'm waiting for a Acura Rao, is it, class 37s, and I'm waiting for Helgen, hopefully the 46 and the 45, is it they're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't hold your breath on those Elgin. Did you say 45s?
45 or 46, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't look very good at the moment.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Although I'm no expert, other people are.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they've said, "Oh, look at this." You think when they point the things out that are wrong, they're you know, it's the usual held. I would think you've looked into it more, haven't you, Guy?
The roof is so the front of it. If you think of the roof as a curve, they've done it. It's quite a broad curve, and they've done it too tight. And if you look at front-on shots, it's quite obvious.
Have you told them?
Other people have.
Right.
Well,
Can't tell them anything, and they come back to you saying, "Oh, we can't get this done. We can't do that. It looks all right to us. Other people like buying our models." And they just don't take any notice. The distinctive thing on all the peaks was the grille along the side where you could see the body members through the grille.
Right.
They haven't even got that on the pre-production one. You bring that up and they go, "Oh, well, even bloody Mainline done that, didn't they?"
Well, I was asked for some pictures via someone else for Bachmann's 4BEP of the buffet. And I supplied some pictures of the roof and so on. So it remains to be seen if they get that right, I suppose.
Yeah, you never know, but Bachmann can do it well sometimes, you know.
Bachmann have got a better track record, haven't they?
Well, I had pictures of the 2 Bill roof that I offered to Hornby, but they weren't interested. So maybe they crawled up the real one. Who knows?
But the 2 Bill roof where the one of the periscopes for the guard was in the first compartment.
Oh, I didn't realise that, but yeah, is it?
Yeah, wasn't that one of their design, whatever they called it, where there was
Design clever.
It was simplified, wasn't it? And
Oh, including the driving trailer with the motorbuggy under it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Where the Lake Colin Parks spotted that was the periscope was in the wrong place, and then when you look at it, it's definitely above the compartment, not the brake van.
Yeah, I'm sure he was right.
Good job I've cut them off, then, isn't it?
Lovely man, well missed.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I only met him once. I did help him out a couple of times, but what a modeler.
Yeah, yeah.
Really good modeler and a nice bloke to be in communication with over stuff.
Yeah.
On an aside regarding that, did anyone ever manage to save all of his RM web postings?
Are they still there?
I can't find them. They were on the old version, I think, and then when that went, it disappeared.
Oh,
There's still material that he's done that is on the new version of RM Web.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
But that's just a general problem with RM Web having got rid of the old archive, isn't it?
Well, rather than archiving it and store it, keeping it somewhere so people can access the good bits rather than all the stupid and me chaff and all that bollocks that's on it half the time.
Don't sit on the fence, Mike.
Yeah, you speak the mind.
Yeah, I will indeed. It's bloody Radiohead noises most of the time in that place now. But you've got to be in it to win it. If they don't like you, they won't listen to you. So. Never mind. I'm done now. I'm going to go silent again and carry on cooking.
Oh, yeah. Whose is that?
One of his?
Carly from Union Music.
Oh no, you're right. It's the
That's Hornby's.
Yeah. Do you mind if I say something about it?
It's not mine. I don't care. I'll just download it off the web.
Has anyone
No,
ever,
give the secret away. I haven't done it yet.
no, has anyone ever seen a shoe beam quite like that shape on a Southern EMU?
Oh, have that.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's massive.
No, no.
It's got the wrong angles at the end. It's too thick at the ends where it goes into the bracket, and it's too high. And I just don't understand how they can do it.
What I like is all the rivets on the bodywork when they're countersunk screws, aren't they, which are filled in by the painters.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Look, it makes it look good, but not to people like us.
I did. I think Paul will know. So I did share a week or so ago with Paul. There's an amazing range of Hornby spares at very, very reasonable prices, and power bogies. And the 2-bill power bogey, I think, is about £6. That's complete. I mean, and it's got the circlip thing at the top, so you can just clip it into a hole. And there's a Class 59 bogey, a Coco bogey, which of course you could use for quite a variety of locos, but about £5-6, absolute amazing value for money. And you can get them from Hornby, or I get them from Lendon's in Cardiff. But they've suddenly exploded, all these spares, and the price is just ridiculous. But when you look online, people like Peter's Spares, you'll pay 25-30 quid for the same thing.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, certain people are making a lot of money out of them, but 6-7 quid is amazing for a motor bogey. And I think the 2-bill's one of them. I've got several Class 59 ones that I'm going to change the side frames on. And all right, they're railroad range, but they run superbly, and they're set up to run for DCC, you know, because you've got the motor inputs and the track inputs, but they're quite acceptable and more than enough, you know, running for that sort of amount of money.
Where are you buying them from, John?
If you go on, I found the best place. If you look on the Hornby website and look at put in power bogies or motor bogey, that sort of stuff, they all come up. But Lendon's of Cardiff, Rob, his website's a bit clunky. It's a bit of a pain in the arse, actually, but he's got thousands of spares on there, and he's not like Peters, who charges ridiculous amount of money, who has got a good range. But you look on Lendon's, his prices are the same as the Hornby website, and he's got a massive stuff. And if he hasn't got it in stock, it tells you, and you just pay 10% on PayPal, and when he gets it, he'll let you know. But the website is a bit of a pain, because when you do a search, it's almost like it's running on a very basic server, but the range he's got is fantastic, and he's very helpful. But there's no point in ringing him, because his spares are not kept at the shop. He's got a warehouse somewhere, so he only goes there once a week, and he posts the stuff out. But yeah, I recommend it.
Here's my bag of Hornby EMU bogies.
Excellent.
Must be about 30 in there. Trailer bogies and motor bogies and whatever.
No wonder you can't get any at the moment. I know where they are.
Yes.
You have to be careful with Hornby motor bogies, because they seem to have inherited on their wheels. They seem to have inherited something from Lima, and the shape. There's no coning in between the flange and the wheel face, the rail face. So they sit quite low, and they can tend to hit some chairs, some rail chairs, especially if you're using X-Acto scale or one of the other chair makers. You do have to be careful, but I found that Heljan Class 17 wheels fit very, very well with their axle as well, so you could think about changing the wheels on those bogies.
On the I must admit, on the you say that, Dave, on the Coco they've got a traction tyre on one each side, and some of the ones I've got from Lendon's, the traction tyres are just fallen off. I assume it's old stock, but the Bobo bogies don't have traction tyres. The 2-bill doesn't have any traction tyres on it.
No, but I always, if you've got traction tyres, just buy the double the number of axles, and you can take one wheel off one and put it on the other. So that's what I've done in the past.
I found a bloke in talking about traction tyres, because people charge silly money for them as well. I found a bloke in Scotland. I think he calls himself Blue Diesels or Diesel Trains.
Right.
He sells a packet of 20 for I think about £4 or £5, including postage. Whereas you go online, you're lucky if you get 4 of them for a £5. You know.
Well, I absolutely won't have traction tyres, so
Yeah.
I won't come across that
Boys,
problem.
boys.
I had traction tyres on a Vitrains 37. I was quite disgusted when I got it, so I wrote to them saying that something had gone wrong with them, and they sent me a full set of wheels, of which I was able to remove the traction tyre wheels and replace them with non-traction tyre wheels. So I was quite happy about that.
I fully agree. Traction tyres is old stuff, but the trouble is, as I'll reveal tomorrow, what I've got into is this, the 40-year-old Limas, and my mission is I can pick one up for 10 or 15 quid. My mission then is to make the thing run marvellously using CD motors, another gear, keep the original gearing, but of course I have to change the traction tyres or fit them, because in most cases they've rotted away anyway. But the actual net result, as I think you'll see tomorrow, is it just relived my youth. They're not the best, they're not brilliant. The bodies were better than the mechanisms in most cases, and it's just finding a source of the traction tyres, the gear, and the motor, which is less than £1 a pop, and the end result, after, like all of us, many hours and sometimes days of work, is impressive, really.
Yeah, that sounds good. There is someone who makes replacement Lima wheels, isn't there? And it's not the usual.
Peter
lot.
Stairs.
No. Someone's making them. Oh yeah, you're right.
Peters was going to do them, but I think he dropped it.
Oh, it might have changed.
There is a company that is it. It might be Exacto Scale, or someone does them. Not Exacto Scale, but someone of that ilk. Someone who's into EM or something.
Yeah.
I must be a pure Luddite. I still love my Lima locos with their original motors and their traction tyres. No, I still run them. It's great.
You're not the only one, Clive.
They had good and bad, though, didn't they? Some of them run beautifully, and others run like crap, no matter how much time you spend on them. But overall, like you, Clive, I love them.
Here's my Lima 33. It's not in focus. I detailed many years ago. It used to push my TC round a club layout we had, rather large layout, and it still runs beautifully. And I think it was when W&H in London was selling them, and they weren't in a box, and they were £9.99. So that's quite a bargain.
Good old days.
Yeah.
That would have been ex-train set ones then.
Almost.
Buy up the train sets and break them all up and sell all the parts off cheaply.
Yeah, they were just bunged in a box on their stand.
Yeah.
This 27 was converted about 40 years ago. I had it running last night.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
Should be dead by now.
Ken Clive should be dead now.
Right. Well, Elbow Lane's lasted.
Done very well, Dave.
Thanks.
Building that after Lidrail, that's brilliant.
Okay. If
Where did you get the name from, Dave? Where did you get the name Elbow Lane from? How did you come to that?
Ah, right. Well, it's nothing special. I'm also into family history, and my great-grandfather lived in a tiny street in Shadwell called Elbow Lane, which is no longer there. And I just chose that, really.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a good name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I often think it's a bit naff, and I might change it.
No, it's a good name.
Right. Leave it, Dave.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, that's nice to hear. Yeah. Family history comes into quite a few things on my layout. Pissing man, for a start.
Is that a family tradition? Pissing outside?
Apparently. Which I keep up.
Oh, yeah, I bet it. Yeah, why not?
Right. I'd like to. Is Carl still with us?
Yes.
I didn't see anything about these EMUs he was doing. What's that all about, please?
Okay. So you want to see some CAD for the EMUs?
Yeah. Small ones.
Small ones.
Yeah, you can make them bigger though, can't you?
Yeah, I can double them up in
Far
size.
away.
What were they?
So
Well done, Guy.
let me just open them up and I'll screen share them.
No, thanks.
Small, big.
Yeah, that's right. That's T gauge, wasn't it?
That's the teenage when it's back there, yeah.
Yeah.
Aha.
So that's stores unit 19, the driving trailer.
Yeah.
And it's mine, sorry. It's Farmer.
Oh man. What's he want?
I've got pictures of 19, and I think I've also got pictures of it in Selhurst being converted.
Yeah.
Have you now? All right.
I've got a lot of pictures of the units they were converting around the same time. I think 13 is there, and pictures of them where the front cab sheets are stripped off the old sub bodies, and they are fitting the EPB type ends on those earlier ones.
There's the upper end, the larger windows. That still stores 19.
Is that on 19 with the big windows?
Yeah, they're plated over.
That.
Right, I
It
never
was
knew,
literally 2 sats, so yeah.
right, I never knew that. Also, I've been on the roofs of some of them and measured the pipe work, the distances between the pipes and so on. So, you know, if you ever want that.
Or sub.
Yeah. Oh, those vents on the roof. Paul's got the measurements of those, I think.
These ones.
Yeah. He gave me the measurements for those.
The icing coat.
I've got some good side pictures of one of those. Parked at the back of Selhurst.
That's 977364, that one.
I wouldn't tell you, I couldn't tell you what number it is, but I've got close-ups of the bogies as well.
Yeah.
So are these are for printing, are they?
Yes, yeah. Bulliard EPB.
Hello, Carl. Do you do any work in 00?
Yes, I've been known to.
Where have you been, Fraser? For God's sake, did you not bother looking?
In Greece, you Wally. You know that.
The printer itself has a print bed the size of just over an A5 piece of paper. It's a 5.5-inch LCD screen. So to print N-gauge coaches this side, I've got to print it at 40 degrees angle to the build plate, and then it will fit on. If I was to try and do this in 00, I'd have to cut the coach into chunks and then print them as individual parts.
No, that's what I was thinking. Yes,
Yeah.
of course you would.
Yeah.
You're all right for what I want, though.
Anything four-wheel wagon-wise, PGA as an example, fits perfectly.
I don't want vehicles, Carl.
Buildings.
I want registration arms. Where can I show? I can show. Can I show you? I want registration arms to go on these.
Overhead line.
Can't you scratch those, Mike? You know, it's called modelling.
I want registration arms to go on these.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be really flimsy if you 3D print those.
That would be, yeah. Because you'd be looking at, what, 0.5 mil diameter pipes?
I don't think Mike's putting wire up. Though.
You'd be no wires.
Cosmetic, you'll get away with it. If you were trying to run wires with it, I wouldn't.
Just cosmetic, Carl, because these are very good. I like these, and I think I'm going to order a load more. You can get them in. You do any lengths.
Yeah.
and I've actually made up a cantilever double arm one.
Yeah.
Sorry, double post one, and I think they look quite good. Okay, it's not an exhibition layout, so I'm not going into too much detail as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they'd be doable, but as I said, they'd only really work with cosmetic because it'd be really brittle with the dimensions you'd be looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. I expect so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I left the meeting for a while. Has Dave finished and gone now?
I'm just going to go give Farmer a call back.
I haven't gone, but I've finished.
He's done his session.
Oh, right, you're there. You're still there, Dave.
Yeah.
You haven't thrown him out because he was useless or anything. He's allowed to stay. You weren't useless, obviously, Dave.
Oh, thanks.
Got away with words there,
I'm just
Paul.
trying to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You know me, guy.
Dig.
Oh, thanks for your email, Phil.
Of your facilities.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, receive, thanks. Cheers, folks.
See you later, Mike.
Who's that that's going?
Who's going?
You want me to start?
Of course.
Have you ever finished, Mike?